And there are only two other real parts of this song. There are piston drones, and this once again came from a modular synthesizer, a module in particular called a Harvestman Piston Honda. And what they do, they actually just basically give you a tonal center, because the track itself is actually in E. And it only appears towards really the moments in the song when there's the most going on. And the way it's being done, it was just a drone at first. And I added some EQ, which again, mostly just take out all the low end. Some compression via the empirical louds arouser, which is another one I use a lot. Which is just honestly gaining it at this point. There is a filter, and that's just used to automate the introductions of it. There is some sidechain compression, but what's giving it its pulse is this unfiltered audio Byome. And the way it does that is, so basically I looked at this almost as if I was using a modular synthesizer, because this is a modular effects plugin. So what I am doing, I am just modulating essentially the gain of the thing, and I'm doing that by essentially I attached a quarter note or an eighth note LFO to trigger an envelope, and the envelope itself affects the output gain. So you could just do it with a tremolo plugin if you wanted, but what I liked about this is that I can actually then theoretically modulate the duration of the envelope itself, so it's not a static pulse. So I could elongate or shorten it. And you can change the curve too. And also, if I wanted to, I could change the frequency at when the envelope's being triggered by modulating the frequency of the LFO. And it's also going through the granulator. And what the granulator is doing, it's splitting up the sound into a bunch of little grains. The grains are all set to be 178 milliseconds. I didn't use a calculator, I just did it by ear, and that sounded fine to me. And what they're also doing is being pitch shifted up an octave. So I have it mixed down pretty far, but if I bring it up, it just adds a little bit of air, and it's cool. I do a lot of things just because, at least musically, because they're cool. I mean, if it's sonically interesting, why wouldn't you? So that is how I did it with this, and it's a very fun plugin because you can just kind of drop and drag modulators to anything, much like you could with an actual modular synthesizer. And then finally, I have some pads underneath all of it, and they just float. There is nothing, they serve no function other than ambience, but they're mixed in as well with the piston drone. And these things are the only things that are actually really providing a tonal center, because everything else is a little bit off.